Hi, Willie Lawson here with the Morning Report. Today's story is not comfortable. I'm not going to sanitize it. I just can't. In April of 2020, in Seoul, Korea, Seoul, South Korea, a 65-year-old obstetrician, a man sworn to protect life, placed a living, breathing baby into a bucket of water and left that child to die. The baby was 34 weeks along, nearly full term, and had survived a late term abortion. The medical staff heard the baby crying. The doctor heard them too. The difference is the staff was horrified. The doctor acted, not to save the life, but to end it. Now, this isn't a rumor. Now you may see this story on the internet, and this is not a rumor. That's not just some crazy thing by some pro-life group. Research this. This is true. You can look this up. It's not a maybe, because a court convicted him. Now, this should rock you to your core, not just as an American, not just as someone with a moral compass, but as a human being. All right. Now, in early April of 2020, Dr. Yoon performed an illegal late term abortion, far beyond South Korea's legal limit. The patient was at 34 weeks gestation. That's a baby the size of a cantaloupe, with developing lungs, a heartbeat strong enough to hear without special equipment, and a very real shot at survival outside the womb. When the baby was born alive, the cries were unmistakable. So instead of following the most basic medical ethics, do no harm, he placed the baby in a bucket of water. The court documents are chilling. Witnesses testified the baby was crying and moving, and that the doctor ordered the newborn placed in water until there was no sound, no movement, no life. Now, for that, Dr. Yoon received a paltry 3.5 years in prison and only a 3-year suspension of his medical license. 3 years for drowning a human being. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, well, that's South Korea, Willie. That's their problem. No, that's our warning. In the United States, pro-life lawmakers have been fighting for the Born Alive Infants Protection Act and similar laws in states. These laws would require that if a baby survives an abortion, they receive immediate medical care, not neglect, not abandonment, and certainly not execution. But every time these bills come up, abortion advocates fight them. Think about that. Every time a bill like that says, hey, listen, if there's a botched abortion and the baby lives, you gotta save it. And people say no. Imagine that. They tell you it's unnecessary. Babies aren't born alive after abortions. Really. Yeah. Tell that to the witnesses in Seoul. If it can happen there, if it can happen there, it can happen here. And the history says it already has. From Kermit Gosnell in Philadelphia. Remember that story and the movie? To testimonies from nurses in multiple states. And these are not isolated horror stories. There are warning flares for a culture willing to dehumanize the most vulnerable. Now, this isn't just a case about one rogue doctor. It's about a global reality at the point of viability. Now, around the world, more than 73 million abortions occur every year. And that's just the official number. Late-term abortions happen in countries with, quote, exceptions, end quote, for life, health, or fetal abnormality. And when these abortions fail, children are born. Sometimes they're cared for, and sometimes they're not. Abortion's defenders insist it's about choice and about health care. But in reality, late-term abortion is often about ending an inconvenient life. And the methods, whether it's lethal injection, dismemberment, or drowning in a bucket, are sanitized with language so the public never really sees the truth. We had to terminate the pregnancy. So you had to kill the baby. When a society devalues life inside the womb, there's a very short slide to devaluing life outside the womb. That's not just South Korea's moral crisis. That's humanity's moral crisis. All right, here's the truth. The horror of that 34-week-old baby in a bucket is not over there. It's not an over there problem. It's a right here problem. The line between us and them isn't a border, it's a mindset. If you can hear about this case and not be moved to speak or act and vote for life, then the culture of death has already won another victory. That's why the pro-life movement cannot be content with just reducing the number of abortions or finding some mythical common ground. Because the ground that we're standing on is soaked with innocent blood. The only common ground worth having is one where every life, born and unborn, is protected by law and is valued in our culture. Because if a 34-week-old newborn can be drowned in a bucket while people watch, a 34-week-old baby can be drowned in a bucket while people watch in a place that's not some third world country. And the world just shrugs, then no one's life is safe. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is collection of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Until we see you again, go out there and learn and love somebody, and for goodness sake, take care of yourself. We are right here on the precipice of 1,000 subscribers. Please, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Share, if you haven't already, share this video with some like-minded folks or some people who aren't like-minded. That's fine. We'll see you when we see you. Bye now.